welcome to Chef Zone. My name is Joy Goto, and on behalf of the Chef Zone team, we're excited to have you all here this evening. We hope you enjoyed the delicious charcuterie prepared by Chef Yaron Strang, featuring products we have at The Inspired Chef. If you post on social media tonight, we will love it if you could tag us at Chef Zone HI. Once the session concludes, everyone will have half an hour to shop in Chef Zone and pick up the Mauka meats venison or other products used in this evening's dishes. Tonight's featured product is local Molokai venison from native Hawaiian-owned Mauka meats that will be paired with wines from Kaka'ako Wines. To start, I'd like to introduce Dan from Kaka'ako Wine. Based on Chef Allen's menu, he has selected wines for you to pair with the dishes Chef will be preparing tonight. I'll turn it over to Dan from Kaka'ako Wine.
Thank you, Joy. Am I on the air? Can you guys hear me from here? Oh. All right, excellent. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Chef Zone. Thank you, Chef Alan Wong, for welcoming me back. It's nice to be here. I love Chef Zone. For those of you that have been here for other events when I'm here, I'll share briefly that, part of my wife and I, our Hawaiian journey when we moved here from Chicago some 10 years ago, it's part of the impetus of that was an incredible meal at Chef Wong's restaurant on King Street, going back maybe 15 or 16 years ago. So to be here in the room, sharing this moment with everyone, and when Chef Wong presents, it's about cooking, but it's about anthropology and people and why the food is the way it is. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be pouring wine, because then I get, then people like me, because I come around with wine, right? That's why I got into the business. Not much of a personality. This helps. 3 beautiful wines tonight, and we'll drop the first one in your glass into the progression a little bit after you've had tea and after we've heard from Chef Wong. But a beautiful Franciacorta. This is a sparkling wine from northern Italy. Gives champagne a run for its money, I promise you. And then 2 different pairing options going with this beautiful venison that we'll enjoy tonight from Mauka Meats. Rustic Old World Bulgari Rosso from Tuscany. This would be softer, it's Merlot based, then a more muscular approach to the pairing with the Martin Ray Synthesis Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon. If there's any wines you love tonight and you'd like to order them, you have one of these. Gives you some information about Kaka'ako Wine, and there's a QR code at the bottom. You can hit that with your phone and place an order. And if you don't want to accept free delivery to your home, office, or gift recipient, I have some bottles in my Nissan Leaf. We can do grab and go in the parking lot afterwards. Okay, so thank you very much. I'll be pouring the wines tonight. I love talking wine, but otherwise I'm just going to stay out of the way and let the Chef Zone team and Chef Wong take care of things. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. We have a few guests joining us today for this special session who I'd like to introduce to offer a few words. Chris Bailey is with the Wahiawa Value Added Product Development Center. Chef Zone is a supporter of the center through the Cottage Industry and Commercial Enterprise Program that helps to grow and incubate entrepreneurs in the food business.
All right.
Yeah.
Hi. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Bailey. Oh, no. Yeah. Center. My name is Chris Bailey. I'm the manager of the Wahiawa Valley Added Product Development Center. We're a brand new 33,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility committed to helping Hawaii-made products through entrepreneurs like Micah grow and scale, be able to sell all across the state of Hawaii, and ultimately export their products out of state, ideally using ingredients that are grown, farmed, raised, branched, fished locally. So we do this through equipment, expertise. We're going to have a team of product developers being able to help with process improvement, refining recipe, and ultimately just basic, kitchen space, right? I think for so many of our entrepreneurs, having space is a limit to their ability to scale. So we definitely, thank Chef Zone for being such an awesome advocate for small businesses that are growing, getting products like Micah's into their stores, and giving them the best chance to succeed. So really happy to be here. Thank you to Chef Allen, Micah, Chef Zone for having me.
Thank you, Chris Bailey. Next up, we have Micah Richards, the owner of Mauka Meats, who was in the 3rd cohort of the Cottage Industry to Commercial Enterprise Program. And now we are proudly offering this delicious product to our customers at Chef Zone.
Thank you so much, Troy. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Michael Richards from Mauka Meats, owner and founder. And if you want to know what high school I went to, it was Kamehameha, class of 2002. Yes, everybody knows. I might as well just tell you that. You already know my biography, the first 20 years of my life. I started this company because I just wanted to know where my food was coming from. especially locally, because I've worked in a kitchen, mine work and everything. If you remember the old Mai Tai bar, I might have been your line cook one time, making tuna shrimp super late at night. I've also worked with family members, fixing fences, helping move cows, and do things like that. I learned how to brand and do vaccinations, like back in the day from like Tim Richards, which is still a funny thing how there are so many people with the last name Richards in this state. Richards Meat Market, Richards Congo Ranch, and somehow I'm not related to any of them, and I still ended up in the meat industry. And yeah, my whole goal is to try and help farmers and ranchers to be able to get their animals, especially those who have amazing practices, and get them to your plates, from pasture to plate, and help them with that whole logistics, that whole cold chain process, all the issues that most people, if you're already raising a great animal, it's really hard to get up on a Saturday morning, do a farmer's market, talk to chefs, figure out the distribution, and jump through every single compliance and government loop that you need to get into a place like Chef Zone, which I'm really so happy that they support all the local farms and ranches over here through their sustainability efforts, and also while they're safe and always great on their compliance work, their buyers are always willing to work with you and help you to kind of try and get your products to market and tell you, just give you honest opinions. Here's our concerns. Here's what we think you need to improve. Here's how you can help us sell your product so that we can actually make sure more people get it. So that's why I'm so happy that you guys are here. And I'm about to go eat some really amazing food with Chef Alan. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Let me know. I'm an open book. This is a transparent process. This is why I made my company this way, that you can always trust your food. Because that's the main thing that we want to do, make sure that everything's clean, safe, and always both open and affordable to everyone here in the state. It shouldn't be a thing where we just make fancy food just for fancy people. It should be something that we should be able to share with everyone. Okay?
I do have a question.
What can I answer?
I'm very curious. The deer the venison, do you farm them? Do you raise them on your farm, or do you go and shoot the wild deer that is roaming all over the countryside?
Great question. We shoot.
With what? Bow and arrow? Or?
No. So actually, if you don't mind me going through a little bit of the process, okay. So the way things work is that you can't just go out, shoot an animal somewhere, and then bring it into a USDA processing facility. We go through federal meat inspection. The United States Department of Agriculture very heavily regulates what meat goes into stores, especially institutions like Chef Zone. And so what happens is we work with a couple of licensed hunters. There are 4 wild harvest programs in the state of Hawaii. 2 of them are on Molokai. We work with one that works specifically with Molokai Livestock Cooperative. That's Randy Cabreros, and the Cabreros family are the ones in charge of that, and they've been a great partner with me for the last 2 years. What they do is they go hunting at night. Hunts start at midnight, so that's why we have to pay the USDA inspectors triple overtime for them to come out, and I respect the fact, if I'm going to start work at 12 a.m. and everything, I want to get paid well too. And then we do that because, one, it's their calm period of the day where the access deer are feeding, and everything's calm, and also the temperature is lower. So when you do go through your harvesting operation, it makes it that much safer for food quality because the ambient temperature is far lower, more like 67 degrees versus if someone's hunting. I know a couple of guys from Waianae over here used to roughing it in 90-degree heat or higher. Just that temperature difference already makes a huge improvement in quality. Then also, you have only a certain amount of time. And humane handling reasons, for humane handling regulations, the USDA inspector is going to be right behind you. When you take the shot, you have an IR scope. It is Bluetooth to their phone or their iPad, and they literally watch the shot, and you have to take them down in one shot directly to the head, so it's as humane as possible, so they're just having a nice day and lights out. The one bad day principle for most agricultural raising practices to help reduce stress is that your animals are happy, healthy, ambulatory, and calm, and then they don't see it coming. That's usually the most ideal way for it to happen, so that it's quick, clean, and humane. And also, high quality, because that way you can also prevent any gaminess or other things from developing off flavors, because it's about time, temperature, and speed. And so, you're welcome. Thank you. All right, any other questions? I'm here all day for your photography.
Thank you, Micah. We're again so honored to have Chef Alan Wong lead our Onolicious Kitchen series. Chef will be preparing Mauka meats, Molokai venison today in a variety of ways and showcase this local protein distributed by a local company, which also is helping to solve the issue of an invasive species. Chef Alan is one of the founders of the Hawaii Regional Cuisine Movement and a James Beard Award winner. Helping Chef Alan this evening are Moe and Victoria, who are culinary students at Kapiolani Community College, and Lee Ito, Chef Alan's right-hand person, who has worked with Chef for over 20 years. We hope you enjoyed today's session. We will send out a survey after the class and hope you'll provide us with your feedback so we can continue to improve. And now, the man of the hour, my best friend in the entire world, Chef Alan Wong.
Aloha. Wow, thank you.
We're best friends. We're totally best friends.
Okay. We have many things. You can see there's a lot of things happening here. So I'm going to use the ground venison. I'm going to use the loin, what they call the backstrap. I guess hunters call it backstrap, yeah? In the kitchen, it's loin, or strip loin, or the New York steak. Okay, you can see the racks over there, where the chops come from. And let me see, the tenderloin. So we're going to go from ground and to raw to cooked. And if you don't want to eat raw, that's totally fine. Okay? When the cooked stuff comes out, if it's too rare, you just give it back to me and you tell me how you want it done. Okay? I'm not a hunter. My job is to make the food taste good, to make it look good and be creative so that you're going to buy the product. Because you've heard it many times, we're dealing with an invasive species. It's eating up all the grass, some of the grass the cattle feed on. Farmers, their farms are being destroyed maybe. Yeah? And so my job is to come up with different ways to make it appetizing for you enough so that you would want to go to the store and buy this, okay? So that we can help get rid of this invasive species. Okay? So with that said, I'm going to take you on a small little journey here. I have a tea there that we're going to give you. And this is my go-to tea when I'm Chinese philosophy, yin and yang. When the body gets too yang, this is very hot, heaty. Okay, you need to balance with yin, the cooling foods. Okay, so in other words, when I feel like inflammation, and I know it when I eat too much red meat, and you're going to eat a lot of red meat tonight, this is my go-to tea, which is lemon. Starts off with water, hot water, lemon, ginger, okay, turmeric, black pepper. The turmeric and black pepper go well together, okay, cloves, star anise, and cinnamon. And there's not enough of one particular thing where you can actually taste it, okay? But I take this and I just relax and sip on this tea. And it's a cooling tea for me. And it's not like you're going to feel the inflammation go down now, okay? But it's just one of those teas that's a go-to for me. That's your tea today, okay? All right. Now, after this, there's going to be a side-by-side tasting, okay? In fact, I'm going to do this for the employees tomorrow, too. Now, one of them is going to be ground venison, with no salt, no seasoning. Another one is going to be ground beef, generic supermarket mainland beef. Okay, same way, no seasoning, no spices. And the other one is going to be a local grass-fed beef. You'll have 3. And I'm going to ask you, you want the left side, the right side, or the middle best? There is no wrong answer, there is no right answer, it's just your personal preference. But I'm going to be curious which one you guys pick in general, okay? Now, I shouldn't give you the answer, yeah? Let's just do that first, okay? And then you're gonna get another ground one, ground venison. And this one is spiced. And I'll explain why it's spiced the way it is. And if you can get a hold of this one, then you can easily make chili. You can make sloppy joes. You can make anything you want with this ground venison kind of idea. Okay? All right, so you should be having your tea and get plenty. So if you like small later on, you're eating the venison, just raise your hand, okay? While they're dishing this up, this side by side, this is a good time for any questions or any kind of, any kind of talk story you want. I learned one thing, you want to do a demo, okay? Bring Micah, he's going to talk all the time.
If you want, I'll do a whole TED talk on invasive species. just be careful what you ask for.
The Christmas, those are the kind of warming spices like cinnamon, the cloves, yeah, the ginger. Okay, when you're eating this, I suggest you go left to right, take a sip, go right to left, okay? And there's no salt, there's no seasoning in here. So maybe if you want to take like aroma, okay? Low, medium, high for each three. Then at the end you can say which one has the most aroma, which one has the least, okay? And then flavor, which one has the most flavor, low, medium, high. They can all be the same thing, okay? And then texture. So you got aroma, you got texture, and you got flavor. Okay, now you can do whatever you want. I'm just trying to give you a little structure. Okay, left to right, right to left. Aroma, low, medium, high. Texture, low, medium, high. And flavor, low, medium, high. And in the end, you will be able to tell me left side, right side, middle. Okay? Take your time.
Tea again? Yeah, lemon, water, turmeric, ginger, cinnamon,
Lemon, ginger, turmeric, black pepper. Yeah. Cinnamon, cloves, and star anise. Okay, we got 2 beef, 1 venison. The venison is Molokai. The 2 beef is mainland, generic supermarket, and the other one is local grass-fed. So if I can give you a little structure on how to like decide this, aroma, smell, okay, low, medium, high. Texture of the meat, that has a lot to do with fat content, low, medium, high, and then flavor, low, medium, high. Okay, I suggest you go left to right, take a sip of the tea, and go right to left. They're gonna be different. Okay. And in the end, you should be able to say, I like the left one better, I like the right one better, or the middle one. And there is no wrong answer. It's what you like. Okay? No salt, no seasoning, nothing. The meat stands on its own. Are we ready to make a decision? Okay. How many left side? How many chose left side as their favorite one? How many chose the right side as their favorite one? How many chose the middle as their favorite one? You gotta count.
That's right.
Okay, right side?
right side.
10.
Middle.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And left. Oh, nobody.
Some people didn't.
Lito. Okay, you gotta reveal left, right, middle.
Huh?
I don't know left, right, middle. You gotta reveal what was.
Oh, okay. The left one is the mainland beef.
That one is the mainland.
The middle is the grass-fed beef.
Oh, my.
And the one on the far right is your Molokai venison.
So that's
Is that the most?
It was tied.
10, 10.
10.
And then the right, the left one was what? How many?
Nobody like, I mean,
Oh. Okay.
promotion mainland.
Grass-fed.
Grass-fed.
No, it was regular.
Okay.
It's not a grass-fed. Oh, what's a grass-fed? Oh, yes, grass-fed. I'm sorry.
So what's interesting is there's a tie, and the tie is between two local products. Okay? Now, this is a really kind of powerful thing when you do side by side or side by side by side. Okay? For example, vine ripened tomato and pink tomato, or vine ripened tomato from different farms, different islands. You know? Goat cheese from Big Island, Maui, and Sweetland Farms. And there's no wrong answer. It's just which one you like and but for what reason. So if anybody wants to share why they picked the middle or the right side, can you share that, please?
The middle one seems like fatty. Is there more fat in the middle one?
We tried to keep everything about 90-10. The venison, correct me if I'm wrong, is about 97.3. Okay, only 3% fat. So that should have been the driest one. Okay. And if you still got the mainland one, when you compare the two beefs, sometimes what I get is a little lactic acid, little sourness. Not sour spoil, just a little bit acid when you do that back and forth. And yes?
So my husband was observing the venison had a earthy kind of flavor.
Okay, Micah? The venison, okay, was a little herby. So we have to talk about what it eats. Okay? Because the terroir, for me, terroir means taste the land. The sun, the rain, the soil, everything, right? So what is it eating, Micah?
These ones usually get harvested on the east side of Molokai, so a lot of rain, but also each one of these, when we harvest them, they actually have to be on private land, and specifically the hunter group works with ranchers, because part of it is supposed to be both removing the invasives off their land, helping them to protect their pasture lands, carry capacity up for their grass and sheep over there, and then so this is also what they're attacking, is all that fresh grass and also the forest area that usually have and other native forests and other native trees around there as well. Part of that, also that too, and that flavor is also just some richer iron content, because here besides stripping the water and releasing they also have kind of a backbone set inside of it, which is really out around as well. Causes you to build that backbone, because once they cook everything, they'll go down, eat that root ball off, and normally grass will take like a few weeks to flush back up, but once they get that root ball up, that can take up to 5 years before it can recover from seed. That's getting a lot.
So this is how it comes, the ground beef in like 1 pound packets, frozen. In fact, these are how they all come. Any other questions?
If we ask anything, I'll be all in.
Okay, so I think a lot of people are afraid of game meat, venison, maybe because they think it's exotic. And you think because it's game meat that it's kind of like gamey, and gamey is associated with kind of smelly. Okay? Strong. And if you get it, what are you going to do with it? Like, for example, when you put this in the pan, when you thaw this up in the pan, because of the low fat, it kind of sticks together. Okay? To separate them, I got to take a mashed potato masher and kind of beat down on them to make the thing separate, because it just tends to stick together. There's no fat that makes it kind of dissolve easy. Okay? The thing that you're going to notice is, was the venison stinky? Was it smelly? Okay, so you're going to notice that it's kind of clean smelling, yeah? Now when I say clean, I'm not talking about soap and water, okay? I'm talking about there's an absence of smell. give you a side story, okay? I grew up on frozen Tyson chicken thighs. You know, when your mom trying to feed a family, a big family, for $1.25 for a 5-pound box was pretty cheap. And what you do with it, you make shoyu chicken, right? But when you put the shoyu, you put the sugar, you put the ginger, and you make shoyu chicken, you're not really smelling chicken. But if you cook that frozen Tyson chicken, anybody from Tyson? Okay, it has a smell. So in working in restaurants, you know, I get to cook with organic free-range chickens. So if I brought this free-range organic chicken, a simple roast chicken, to my friends in Wahiwa, they would go like, bruh, what's up with this? It's no big deal. Exactly, okay? There's an absence of smell. An absence of smell to me means clean. Versus, if you never make shoyu chicken out of that frozen Tyson chicken thigh, you would smell something. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's spoiled or smelling bad even. I'm just saying you're going to smell something. Okay? So, you're going to eat it raw too, if you want. Okay? One of the first things I did when I met Micah, I said, can you eat it raw? So, I like to eat something raw if you can eat it raw. And I check just to get a taste for it. You know, we're in Nihao, and they caught a eland, which is an antelope. And I said, I like to taste that raw. They hung up the eland, took a knife, take a slice off the back, and we just ate them. Still raw, still warm. Anyway, that's me. Okay? So, Micah says you can eat it. So, what we did was we made ceviche. I made ceviche, fed it to Micah. I think he liked it.
I was happy to be guinea pig. Very, very happy and very, very full.
And then, I don't know if you saw the TV spot yesterday morning. I made poke out of the tenderloin. So the ceviche was made out of the backstrap of the loin. I looked at it, and this is when Micah dropped off samples. First time I'm seeing this. I opened the loin and looked at it. It looked like a log of sashimi. Nice and red. So I thought, I sliced one off and I put them in my mouth just to taste it. So I kept slicing. I squeezed some lime juice on it, some cilantro, some onion, some chili peppers, and that was ceviche. So on the TV news yesterday, I took the tenderloin, cubed it, because it looks like ahi, and I made just real simple poke. Okay? So you're going to try both of those today. And if you don't want to eat it raw, that's fine. Okay?
So what is the one time?
Oh, this one. This is the entree. Oh. No, I'm kidding. Okay. So, obviously it's on rice. Okay? Soboro in Japanese is a technique where they fry it and they try to make it all in small little even bits. Okay? This one was made with cumin. I took whole cumin, fennel seeds, star anise, allspice berries, cloves, and I toasted them in a pan, and then I put them in a spice grinder, and I seasoned this meat. This is a normal way you would season it, because thinking, oh, must be kind of gamey. Let me chase the smell. Okay? It didn't need that, but I did this anyway to show you that this is what it would taste like. And this is where you would make your chili, your spaghetti sauce, your sloppy joe, your chili con carne, anything that you would do with hamburger. Okay? And a little bit of flavor on top is moro miso. I chose moro miso. Try it. And I'll talk about moro miso after that. You want a little bit of the moro miso, a little bit of meat, and eat them with the rice. So Japanese have this thing called donburi, or don. Like ahi don is basically ahi tuna on rice. Poke bowl is ahi don, poke don. Okay? And you put something on rice, call it don. So this is venison don. Okay? And the moro miso is slightly sweet, isn't it? So this is barley miso. This is a stage before it finally becomes a paste. I like it because for anybody that get heart problems, this is a good one for you. If you take 1 tablespoon of shoyu, salt, they're about over 1,500 milligrams of sodium. Moro miso is below 500 per tablespoon. You can season poke with this moro miso. I'm not saying eliminate salt, eliminate shoyu. Cut back on that because this has sodium. It's 1/3 the sodium. Okay, less than 1/3 the sodium, and it gives good flavor to even things like ahi poke. Try.
Already did.
Oh. M-O-R-O. Moro miso. Sometimes you might see it as moro mi. Yeah.
It just comes in a jar like sugar.
It's in the miso section. If you go to an izakaya, Japanese izakaya, you might see a dish called moro Q. Q stands for cucumber. So basically, they give you cucumber sticks and this moro miso, and you dip and you eat. Good with BL sake. So this is a tenderloin. Okay, can you see how red? Okay, this is a filet mignon. And if you like filet mignon, it's the most tender cut of steak, right? So this would be the most tender one. So it's already, the beauty of this product too is they clean it almost ready to use. Very minimal prep. I'm just, whatever white parts you see, I'm trimming that off. This is a simple poke. The first thing I always do is I season it with salt. Okay? And you let it sit. You can see it's a little bit shiny. The salt is melting. Okay? This is basically kosher salt. Then diced onions. Green onion. If I had inamona, I would use inamona, sesame oil. If I'm at home, I would use chili peppers. In the restaurant, I use sambal because this one is always consistent. Yeah, so if you have staff making this and putting it together for you and not yourself, this remains consistent all the time. Otherwise, you might have one real hot, one not hot enough, and it's just like changing. And you put as little or as much as you like. Okay? You don't have to add any if you don't like it spicy. Okay. I take the first bite. I never fought on yet. Okay, what I get is I get meat that is like it's firm but it's soft at the same time. It's not mushy. Yeah, and you can flavor it whatever way you like. Everybody heard the question? The size? Size matters. Okay, let's go from the smallest cut, tartar. Because it's so small, it will like take every ingredient you put in there quicker. Let's take some home style pokés where the thing is really big like that, right? Now, if you season it and you eat it right away, you're chewing in a lot of raw fish. Takes a while for the seasoning to come in, unless you let them sit for half an hour. But I don't like eat warm poke, okay? I don't like that. So you gotta find the right size for you and your friends or your family. You know, if you have it, the larger it is, the harder it is for the flavors to get on the inside. So I don't like it to be real large. It's like right in the middle. And if you're doing a tartare, be careful. Don't overseason. Okay? How do we get this, everybody? I am dishing it out. Wow. There you go. Okay.
We can serve it.
The boss speaks. Okay. While Lee is figuring this out, can I have a plate, please?
No.
A plate? A plate? Bigger plate? Brown plate? Oh yeah, good one.
Get one, yes. Or, yeah. Okay.
Okay, can you take a look at this? Looks like a log of tuna, doesn't it? Okay. Okay, this is the back strap or the loin. This is the tenderloin, which is coming out now. Okay, this loin. Okay, this is where the New York steak comes from. So if you take your back and you cut it in half, it's on the lower half of the full loin. Okay? And this comes out of the package just like that, so you don't have to trim anything. It's good to go.
What's the upper part of the loin between the center back and the shoulder blade that goes up to the neck?
Can I touch you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, stand up.
Yeah.
Okay, can you face that way? Okay. Okay, here we go. This is how we normally do it to the cooks. Okay? Shoulder. Okay? Here. This is the full loin. Okay? Now, if we cut this in half, you got your rib cage here. This is your prime rib, your lamb rack, your pork chops. Okay? So, when you finish the last rib bone and you go down here, that's the loin or the New York steak. Now, I'm not going to touch you down there, but if you go down closer to the tailbone, that's where you got 2 porterhouse steak on each side. That's where your T-bone steaks come from. Okay? Then you got your leg and all that sirloin, top sirloin stuff. So up here is the ribs. That's your rack.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Okay?
Nice. Oh, wow, that's really red.
Okay? So this comes out of the package just like this. Good to go. Okay? You can slice it. Okay, this is what it looks like. What also impresses me is absolutely no oxidation. Oxidation would have made it a little bit brown. While you guys trying to poke it, I'm making the ceviche here now, okay? If you can see this loin here, all I'm doing is like right out of the package, I'm slicing it thin like sashimi. Okay? And you can see it's a thin piece of sashimi. Okay? When I met Micah for the first time, this is what I did. And then there's very little iron, not gamey at all. If you blindfolded me and told me this is beef, I would believe you. Okay? So I slice this, and just like the poke, I'm going to season it. How's the poke? Anybody need chili pepper water? Okay, I made this chili pepper water. Okay, the acid you're going to find inside here is purely from lacto fermentation or lactic acid in fermentation. No vinegar in this chili pepper water. This is natural. Okay, so I took the chilies and I fermented them. It's kind of plenty for one guy. So if you still get poke, you can dip them in here. You can pour them on. I'm just slicing some onions real thin. Okay, after the salt, fresh lime juice. Okay. Onion, cilantro, Thai chilies. Okay. Now, when I was kind of growing up in the business, the ceviche that I ate was cooked all the way through. I mean, this lime juice cured it for overnight. So the fish cubes were completely cooked by acid. And I didn't like it until I went to Peru, and this chef taught me how he made ceviche in Peru. So you cut like cubes or slices like sashimi. He salted it. He put lime juice, and the lime juice was cooked it only for like 1 minute. It was just like eating sashimi. Then he put the Peruvian onion, Peruvian lime, and a certain chili that we don't have here. Okay? And so the reason why this looks kind of like sashimi tossed with onions is because it's barely cooked. It just touched the lime juice. It's been sitting in the lime juice a little bit for like 60 seconds right now. Okay? I don't know if you can see this board, but the cilantro stems have more flavor than the leaves. When you bite on that stem, that's a burst of flavor. Okay. Normally in Peru, they serve it with something sweet. The Peruvian corn would be this chocolos thing. It's kind of starchy like hominy. I like to serve it with fresh corn, local corn. For some reason, it's not in the stores at all. So you have Okinawan purple sweet potato. And what that does is when it gets really spicy, they use that to chase the heat. Okay, the sweet and the heat, they kind of cancel out. Okay, this one's not that spicy. Then again, I like spice too. One of the reasons why you cannot duplicate the ceviche in Peru is because they use the Peruvian limes. It's like a certain kind of acidity and sweetness at the same time. And their chilies. Favorite one is this thing called ají amarillo, a yellow chili. Okay, Lee, here we go. Anybody been to Peru, had ceviche? You know what leche de tigre is? So, leche, milk, tigre is tiger's milk. So when they're making ceviche, they add a broth. I didn't add a broth here, okay? So you'll have this milky white liquid at the bottom of the bowl of ceviche. And it's great for hangovers.
It's kind of citrusy, yeah?
Citrusy, and this is like that. You can take a shot. You can take this liquid, put it in a shot glass, and put an oyster inside. You know, you can do many different things with this leche de tigre. You can make your own leche de tigre. You can put in a blender a little bit of raw fish and blend that. Put cilantro, onions, and chilies, chili pepper water, and you have a leche de tigre. You want a coconut leche de tigre? Add a little bit of coconut cream or coconut milk. How are we doing? Any questions? Always a good sign when nobody talking and asking questions. The lime juice will help in chasing away smell, right? The poke didn't have really anything in there except maybe the chilies to chase anything. But you see the absence of smell and how clean the smell, the taste is. Okay, the next dish. Next dish is you take the venison. Okay, I didn't explain it to you for the people here for the first time. I don't give any recipes out. Okay, and if you notice the 5 squares down at the bottom here, the salt box, sodium box, the acid box, the sweet box, the heat box, and the bitter box. It's kind of like how I cook. Okay. So this next one, and I also cook in ratios. So the ratio for this one is 1-to-1 venison, and ground pork. Okay? So the venison is 97% meat, 3% fat. So when you're adding pork, you're not only stretching it, but you're giving it a little bit more fat. Enough so that I can put them in a wonton. Okay? So that's what I did, 1-to-1, venison, and ground pork. But I spiced it very similar to how you ate it in that soboro. Okay? So, come. Right there. So, put some in. And when you're done, you put them in that bowl when they're cooked. Okay? Put a lot in. Put like half in. Here. Okay. So, the wontons are cooking here. Here, I have orzo and rice. Okay? Now, I love the orzo. It's a pasta, but when you eat this orzo, it's slippery like a noodle. And when you eat this, I'm hoping that you're going to feel like you're eating a wonton min without the min. Okay? All right? Now, there's not only orzo, but there's some boiled rice. Okay? There's a combination of chicken's broth and kombu dashi. Basically, you make chicken broth, throw some kombu inside to give it more umami. Okay? And I took some of the inspired chef's truffles in oil, I blended it with butter, and I came up with my own truffle butter. Okay? They also sell the butter already prepared. Right? So this goes inside here too. Seems like a lot, but that's probably for like 12 people. Okay? Now, when this is done, you put them inside the bowl, you put that in. Okay? Yeah. So the kombu has a lot of glutamates or umami. Okay? I'm going to finish this with some grated Parmesan cheese, which has a lot of umami and glutamates too. Okay? So you got orzo, you got rice, you got broth, and you got truffle butter, and you got Parmesan cheese. Okay? Now, what I didn't tell you yet is that broth is thickened, okay, with a little bit of arrowroot. Arrowroot acts like cornstarch. You can add cornstarch if you like. And I put a few slices of ginger. Okay? The ginger is also something that chases the smell. Okay, you can kind of see this, right? Okay. And at the last minute, I'm going to add this. This is my quick pickle mustard cabbage tsukemono. 2 ingredients, mustard cabbage and salt. When I say quick, this is not the fermented one. Okay? So what I do is I chop up the mustard cabbage, I add a little salt, and I massage it. So it has the appearance of blanched, but it's not been cooked. The salt and massaging breaks down the leaf, the cell structure, and the salt goes right in. So you find you add less salt than you normally would. So this goes in the last minute. If you get enough, if it's ready, we can go. Is it cooked? Okay. No? I bet you by the time you plate this, it'll be ready. Yeah, put one in here. How you know? You tested, you ate it. You know, I learned, no argue with the boss. Say it's not ready, it's not ready. No. Make sure it's cooked. Yeah.
So the rice wasn't already cooked?
Ah, good question. Thank you for asking that. For me, I always steam rice, and recently I started boiling rice. When you boil rice like pasta, you're boiling the rice in a huge amount of water, and you take out the rice when you want to take out the rice. You drain it, you cool it off. Now you can take the rice, you can do whatever you like with the rice. Now because you rinse the rice, you're rinsing some of the starch off. Okay? So it won't get sticky if you're making fried rice. And in this case, I'm adding the rice to something. Okay? And so you could take rice, make a sauce. In fact, I did this here. It was the seafood rice.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I made a tomato sauce. It was a different kind of tomato sauce. Then I boiled the rice and I had my seafood. In the end, I combined the three. Okay, the rice and the sauce. So it was this like soupy rice in this tomato thing. And I took the tomato sauce and I cooked the seafood in there. And then I combined them at the last. Okay, so I actually call it wet seafood rice. Okay, I didn't call it a paella. I didn't call it jambalaya. Remember? I didn't call it a fancy name like arroz con moriscos. I call them wet seafood rice. Okay? Because if I gave it a name, you would expect something. If I call them wet seafood rice, you don't know what's coming. Okay? And that could only be done with boiled rice. Okay? If you take rice out of the pot, it's all mushy. Okay? Wouldn't have been the same. You had that. Okay, how we doing? How's the orzo? Kind of smooth?
It's like non-messy.
Non-messy noodles. Okay, while you're eating, I got a slight story. Okay, the story is about a component of the next dish. So I'm in Bangkok in a Thai restaurant with 12 female chefs. I'm the only man. Okay, I had a blast. So I noticed that they did a lot of things in the mortar and pestle. Like the green papaya salad was made in a mortar and pestle. And this thing, they were making this Thai beef salad in a mortar and pestle. And so I enjoyed that salad so much, the Thai beef salad, that I created a palate memory. Okay, I memorized that taste. And I went home and I tried to duplicate it with Western Asian ingredients and Western equipment, no mortar and pestle. Okay, and I wanted to do this one to show you basically how these 5 boxes work. Okay, this dish is all about the 5 boxes. Okay, so this is the dressing. It's called chili lemongrass dressing. And I basically did it because this is the boss's favorite dressing. Okay, so soy sauce. It's about a cup, right? Now, you gotta know that if you've been coming to this class, soy sauce is not just soy sauce. Every country has their own soy sauce, and they're all different sodium levels. They smell different. Some are sweeter, right? But the most important thing here, this is a bucket of sodium. I'm gonna dilute it with water. Okay? Now, this is about a cup too, but I only added like a little bit, because I can add more later on. Okay, add a little bit more. Okay, so what I just did is I diluted soy sauce. Okay, sodium. I'm gonna add, normally they add palm sugar. So I'm gonna add brown sugar. Okay, this is from the sweet box. Sweet box. It's about a cup of shoyu with 1/4 cup of water so far. Okay. That was about a 1/2 cup. Okay, sodium, sweet, acid, lime juice, fresh lime juice, squeezed. So we got something sweet, sour, and salty going on. Okay. So what you should do is, after you put everything one by one, you taste them. Okay, I'm going to add more acid. And give me some more brown sugar, please. I'm going to add more brown sugar. Then I'm going to add ginger slices. Here come the aromatics. Okay, some crushed garlic, some sliced shallots. Okay, if you don't have shallots, you can use onion. And something called galangal. This very woody, hard thing that you go to the store and you don't know what to do with it. Okay, but if you smell this, pass it around. Okay, it goes great in soups, in salad dressings, in stews. And you can't replace that, okay? So I slice some lemongrass. Okay? Then I have one chili, a Thai chili. Now in Thailand, they probably put like, for that much, put like 6 chilies. Okay? And you add as little as or as much as you want, but the heat is important to be there for the sweet. The heat and the sweet play together. The sweet and the sour are playing together. Okay? And they're all like connected with the sodium. Does that make sense? More acid, more sweet. Okay? Now, if you follow this ratio, 1 to 1 to 1, totally different. Nothing to do with this one. Okay? Shoyu, sugar, and water. Okay? That's basically almost like a teriyaki sauce. Okay? In Japan, it would be different. Instead of the water, they put sake. Instead of the sugar, they put maybe mirin or mirin and sugar. But they're still doing the same thing. Sodium, sweet, and instead of water, sake. Okay? That's their teriyaki sauce. The reason why I mention that is because when you deal in ratios and you actually measure, okay, it's like I relate it to singing in the car with the radio on, the music on really loud. So when you're singing to them, you don't sound bad. Okay? That's what the ratio does for you. It gives you a board, a line to work off of. If you want more sweet, you go more sweet. You want more acid, you go this way. But the ratio always works. It will always be consistent for you. Like the loud music that you play when you sing in the car. Okay? Or in the shower. More aromatics. Cilantro. Okay? Can you get some basil, please? My most favorite one of them all, kaffir lime leaves. Okay? You can tell when you got the real one because it's a double leaf. Okay? Kaffir lime leaf. And if you really want to tell, you bruise it in your hand and you can really smell what the oils that come out the smell. Okay? Everybody know what this smells like, right? Who does not? Who wants to try one?
So, but you don't use the limes themselves, only the leaf.
Only the leaf. The lime is an ugly bugger. Okay? Anybody else want to try? Okay, pass it
Oh,
down.
it smells wonderful. It's like
Bruise it and smell it.
that Thai soup.
Okay, it's an aromatic that cannot be replaced by lime zest.
What is this?
You guys know what it smells
Galangal. Let me confuse you some more.
How do you spell it?
Galangal. Okay, I'm going to confuse you some more. In Thailand, get greater galangal and lesser galangal. But for Hawaii, that's galangal. Okay, Thai basil. Bruise them, put them in. So, I told you about Thailand. I showed you how I made the dressing for the Thai beef salad. Instead of a beef salad, you're getting a venison. Okay? Now, bear with me. If you don't understand, just ask me a question. This is the protocol for venison. Okay? For both the loin and the rack. You take your meat out about 2 hours before you're going to cook them. Let it come to room temperature. And you salt it. So, it's 2 hours, got salt on it. Okay? You preheat your oven. And it's actually going to be 200 degrees. So you can make them 350 and then turn them up to 200 after 2 hours, okay? You put your meat on a rack because when the meat touches the bottom of the pan, that side will cook faster than the other side on top. Okay? You want to put the meat in the oven 200 degrees until it reaches 110 degrees internal temperature. Okay? 110. Take them out. Let them rest half an hour. When you think it's going to go, about maybe half an hour before the party starts. Okay? After it's rested a half an hour, you sear it. Make it brown. Then you put them in a 350 oven until it reaches 125 degree internal temperature. Okay? Easier. Yeah. Then you will get a medium rare all across with no gray on the outside. This is just as good as sous vide cooking. Okay? The whole point is low and slow. And you don't sear and put in the oven like the old-fashioned way. You put in the oven, you get the temperature, and then you sear them. That's called a reverse sear. In fact, if you came last time to the prime rib class, that's how I did the prime rib. So, also on this plate, Sweetland Farms. This is a farm, a goat farm. They make great goat cheese right outside Schofield on your way to Wailua on the back road. Okay? Emma Bello. She's part of the Peterson farm, the egg farm in Wahiawa that just closed. Okay? She's doing a great job. And one of the unique things about the farm, they grow their own feed. They don't have to import it. Okay? So, here. So this is the first time you're going to try the cooked venison. Okay? Now, you want to try and get the venison medium rare, rare. Okay? Okay, any questions? Protocol, anything? So, you're going to have this dressing from Thailand, the Thai beef salad dressing. That's on the plate on the bottom. Okay? You have goat cheese just sitting on the plate. Then you have this kind of pinkish dressing. That's a combination of that lemongrass chili dressing and the goat cheese. I hope what you experience is it's not really dry. It's like clean. Okay, it's a good protein. It's very low in fat. Okay, we had a question. Is ahi strong enough to stand up to the lime juice in the ceviche? Okay, the answer is yes. Slice the sashimi a little thicker. Okay, now home stretch, gang. Now, the piece that you had there was from the New York steak or the strip loin. Okay, now most New York steaks come from the bottom, are usually more lean than the ribeye. If you want fat, juicy steak, order the ribeye if you have a choice between New York and ribeye. Okay? So, this is a rack. Same protocol. 110, take it out, rest, put it back in, 125. Okay? Now, I didn't French it. I left it on the meat between the bones because I think it's a good nibble. Okay? Then you get a rack like that. Okay? So, okay? So now, this glaze is simple. You got honey, you got mustard, you got garlic. Okay? So first you start with your honey. Honey is not just honey. You got darker honey, which is more strong, versus lighter honey. And this recipe, you add one ingredient at a time, stir it up, and you taste it. Okay? Because the second ingredient is mustard. And as you know, there are so many different kinds of mustard. Okay? At the Inspired Chef, they have this mustard here. This is the one everybody's familiar with. Okay? Honey, mustard, stir, taste. Okay? Okay, the mustard should take the sweetness away. Now you add minced garlic. Everybody's garlic is different. Some are more hot than the others. Okay, you put the garlic in, you stir it up, you taste it. It's supposed to be a nice balance between that spicy hot garlic, the sweet honey, and the mustard. Okay? Then you add some fresh thyme and some Italian parsley. That's it. Now that was what was glazed on top of here. Okay, so you all get a double chop. Whoa. And I'm going to talk about relief, okay? Not that kind of relief, okay? Sometimes when you're eating something, you want something of a flavor here so that you refresh your palate and you'll want to continue eating. Sometimes you get a intermezzo, a frozen thing that's meant for you to like cleanse your palate and continue eating, okay? So sometimes you will see, like in Italy, okay? They serve mostardas. The thing with game, lamb, you want to eat something, sweetness goes well. Mostarda, obviously mustard. Okay? That complements the game very well. Okay, can I have this? Okay, we can start going now.
Are you done with the curry?
Yeah. All right. So there is a red grape mostarda. There is a pineapple mostarda. There is something like that resembles a tomato chutney. Okay, these are all the sweet sour flavors. The fruit goes well with game. Okay, you guys ever heard of duck à l'orange? It's duck with oranges. Okay, there's a fancy French name for duck with cherries. You know, any fruit. And it's always a gastrique sauce, which means sweet and sour. Okay, the gastrique comes from the gastric juices, sweet and sour. Okay, and there is a kabocha squash coconut curry in the back that accompanies this too. So the coconut milk was on purpose because this little bit of fat should go well with the rack. Okay, the leanness of the rack. And this can be as simple as the venison with a drop of balsamic vinegar. Joy will tell you all about this.
It's a 12-year age balsamic from Italy.
Yeah.
It's roughly about $45. It's in the Inspired Chef. You can go shopping right after this. It's delicious.
So, if you want simple, it could be as easy as the meat and a balsamic vinegar. Balsamic vinegars go from 6 months to 25 years old to 50 years old. And there is one 25-year-old there.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and the older you go, the longer it's been kept, so the more expensive it gets. But you will get a deep, rich, it gets sweeter, but not sugary sweet, balsamic vinegar. Okay? And this is saba, not the fish now. Okay? This is made with in the style of the balsamic vinegar, but with grape must. Okay? So it's very raisiny, sweet. This one's sweeter than that one. If you wish to try this with some other venison, I leave it here. You guys can pass it down. Okay? Pour a drop on your plate when you get it. I hope maybe you were inspired, or number one, realize that it's not really gamey at all. And number two, that if you just take it easy and pay attention, that you can make venison at home too. What's that? Any other questions?
So you didn't
How did you do the kielbasa?
The what?
Kabocha.
The kabocha.
Oh, real simple. Cut them into cubes, make a curry sauce, and put them together.
That easy.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Oh, good.
So you didn't do anything to make the gaminess, quote unquote gaminess, go away. You just use as is, cook the meat as is.
You know, I did add. That's the reason why in the very beginning you had it cooked ground with no seasoning, and then slowly we started doing things. The loin on the salad was just salt.
So, okay.
Okay,
You use
everything
as
was
is.
around it in that Thai beef salad dressing and the goat cheese. If anything, that goat cheese made it more funky. Oh, okay. How you when you're serving something that's kind of smelly, what's the easiest fix?
Mask it.
I used to say in the kitchen when something stink, put them with something more stinks so you don't smell them. Okay. So like for example, you put a dash of fish sauce at the end.
Right.
I mean, it's not offensive, but it kind of like has that smell, right? So all of a sudden you forgot about the first one. You know? So, you know, we didn't do too much overly to the meat, the loin and the rack. The rack had that honey mustard garlic thyme thing. So don't overcook it. That's the most important thing. Okay? If you can remember the reverse sear, you're in control more than if you cook it the regular way, where you searing it in the pan and you stick them in the oven. That's actually more difficult than this way. Okay, and if you want to try it, you got to invest in a little thermometer to stick in the meat. I think it's worth the time if you're going to do it often and you want to be consistent, even with your steaks and your prime rib.
Do you have any recommendations, like if you try to do a Wellington with venison?
Ooh. You probably picked one of the most difficult things to do because you want it to be medium rare and you want to cook the pastry, you know, because a Wellington, one of the first things is you have to cook the pastry. And the doneness of the meat is like, depends on so many things because you don't want to cook uncooked pastry, serve uncooked pastry. Try them with beef first.
We did.
You did?
Yeah.
Came out good.
It came out alright. I mean, family good.
What cut of beef did you use? Okay, what cut of beef did you use?
The same thing that the filet mignon.
Okay, now, how big was the eye?
It was like that size.
Okay, so the biggest eye you can get on this is the like this, the ribeye, the rack. Okay, so much smaller. So that's where your degree of difficulty is going to be. Because you're dealing with something that's much smaller. So you know the tail part of the tenderloin? Practice on that. You know, the tail half. You can tuck it under. Create something like that. Or what's more comparable is a pork tenderloin. Try with pork tenderloin. And then you might have to roll your pastry a little thinner. That's a challenge. Any other questions? Pineapple. What's the question? Okay, here's a ratio: 2 to 1. Okay. In another class, I did a lot of pickles. Okay, 2 vinegar, white wine vinegar to 1 part sugar. Okay. Then you can put in all the spices if you like, but that's the basic ratio. And so that's what the pickle went in, the pineapple. And then to get the mostarda, a little horseradish, a little mustard. How many of you heard of a dish called bolito misto? You heard of frito misto, right? What did you say? Frito-Lay, no. Frito misto is an Italian seafood fry. You get fried calamari, fried shrimp, fried fish in a basket. Okay? The miso means mixed, and frito is fried. Then you got bolito miso, a boiled meat mix. Okay? You would see mostarda most often on that dish. You eat the boiled meat, you drink the soup, you eat a little mostarda, and keeps the party going. Any other questions? Yeah.
If you were to grill it over charcoal and stuff, how would you do it and what cuts would you use?
The venison.
Yeah.
I wouldn't grill the ground beef. I mean the ground venison. Well, you can make patties, right? You can make hamburger patties. Okay. You can use anything. In fact, it will impart a very nice smoky flavor.
Just salt, pepper.
Or you can marinate in stuff like garlic, rosemary, fresh thyme, bay leaf. The trick for me is if it's a loin, the New York steak, or the ribeye, the rack, you would see me turn it constantly, maybe like about, I'm not kidding, 20 times. Okay? If it's in the pan, a steak, to get it to this kind of doneness, I keep turning it. I don't let it rest on one side too long. That's when you start to see the gray and the brown come up versus a real nice kind of pink. Yeah. So if you're grilling, you got to be there. You cannot walk away. And you keep turning them. And it'll slowly cook all the way around. It's worth doing it, the time that you take. So that's what I would do.
You're so
Take
honest.
20 times, 10 on each side. Okay? You can call them huli venison.
Thanks for the tip. You are so honest.
Any other questions? No questions?
What was the name of the Thai dish that you were deriving that sauce from?
It was a Thai beef salad, including the beef was in the mortar and pesto. The pesto was deep, and you just keep on beating it.
What was the name of there's a dish called crying tiger beef that has a similar taste to that, like that sauce. I was just curious if you knew what the name, what they call the dish in Thailand.
No. Thai beef salad.
So when they use the mortar and pestle, does the beef end up being kind of mashed up like?
A little bit, but they're making the dressing before they put the beef inside.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like in the beginning. Like on a green papaya salad, the first thing that went in was green beans, raw green beans. Raw green beans, tomatoes. That's how they build their base. Then they start adding their aromatics. And then you saw me add like the lemongrass, the ginger, the garlic, and the chili. The chili goes in kind of early because you want to mash it up. Then adding the sweet and the acid is like kind of like in the middle. Any other questions? Micah, any last words?
Thank you so much for being here. And honestly, Chef, this is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming. Thanks for staying late.